Before we get into the video, once again, if you guys like the content that we provide here, then be sure to subscribe to the channel today so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. We just had another thrilling national event out in Reading, Pennsylvania. It's going to get even better as we head towards Charlotte in the final 5 races of the season as we get closer to the NHRA finals in Pomona. We're possibly going to be live in St. Louis on finals day for the Midwest Nationals, and then of course we're going to be in Dallas and Pomona with possibility of going to Vegas as well. So if you want to see all the action that's going to be going on within the NHRA series throughout the final 6 races of the season, then be sure to subscribe today so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. We will be your home for all the updates in the countdown to the championship for 2024. So subscribe today so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So like I said in the intro, we had another thrilling national event to kick off the 2024 edition of the Countdown to the Championship for the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. We went into today with high expectations because of what Reading usually produces. We saw some fast qualifying speeds throughout those 2 days of qualifying on Friday and Saturday. Going into Sunday, it looked as though it might have carried over into that. Instead, what we got is a very tricky track condition that went back to the pedal fest jobs that we've seen in years past. It's been a while since we've seen a race quite like that. We saw multiple pedal fests in the fuel categories in round 1, and then it sporadically showed its face throughout round 2 and the semifinals. Some very interesting turnouts and some really massive upsets and exciting endings to races that really decided how this entire day spread out. As for the championship, this was probably the perfect kickoff you could ask for. We went in today with the top 4 in the points in each of the classes with Kalitta, Austin Prock, Dallas Glenn, and Gaige Herrera. What we ended up seeing instead, only 2 drivers actually held on to their points lead exiting the first race of the countdown. In one case, it looks as though they've almost solidified their championship this early in the countdown if they were able to keep up the performance that they have. We'll talk about that later on, but again, this is the perfect start to the countdown that anybody could have asked for, just ramping up the excitement, the anticipation, and of course the big thing, the unpredictability that comes with the countdown to the championship, with the great equalizer being this points reset. We're going to recap not only the race, but also the points right afterwards before we get into the highlight videos from NHRA themselves. Some of the highlights overall through this, like I said, the tricky track conditions were the big one of them. The 340-mile-an-hour run was really expected on Friday night. With the conditions that we saw going into the weekend, Friday looked to be the best possibility that 340 miles an hour is finally going to be hit in NHRA. Bob Tasca, of course, being the one that everybody thought was going to do it. That did not happen. He got kind of close. 338 was kind of the mark that he left going into Sunday afternoon, but that was not going to be the 340-mile-an-hour run we all expected. The big thing that was plaguing the Tasca camp all weekend, they kept losing holes. Every single run they made throughout qualifying and the race, they had at least one hole drop in the car. It really angered Aaron Brooks. It made Bob Tasca even angrier because of the fact that they could not figure out what it is, and it is costing them runs, and it cost them a shot at the final rounds when they faced off against Austin Prock. For Kalitta, he is the big loser of the 4 pro categories in terms of their point standings. He came into this event with about a 17-point lead over Justin Ashley. He ended up having a good turnaround in qualifying after the disappointing result that happened back at the US Nationals that resulted in a DNQ. They stayed after for testing, looked as though they're going to be able to turn around, figured out what was plaguing them in qualifying, came into Reading, had a very strong performance, and then it all fell apart on race day, and it cost him big as multiple drivers pounced on the opportunity to keep the hottest driver in the class this season down and try to prevent the Kalitta driver from going back-to-back in 2024. Lastly, Pro Stock Motorcycle, which heading into the countdown was the one that was decided pretty early on was going to be Gaige Herrera's. Little did we know, however, that's probably going to be one of the tightest and most interesting points battles throughout the course of the countdown. Gaige Herrera was not the easy runaway. Matt Smith wasn't even the easy runaway. Not even Angie Smith or Richard Gadsden. That would be Hector Rana Jr. That would be the one that really shined this weekend and started to put himself in the conversation for being a very far outsider, but still an outside chance of winning this championship if he's able to keep this performance going throughout the final 5 races. We're going to talk about all of this and more. Let's get into your race recap. In Pro Stock Motorcycle, the points reset going into Reading for race 1 of the countdown would take the championship battle between Gaige Herrera and Matt Smith be reset to only a 20-point gap for the final 6 races. By the end of qualifying, Matt had gained 3 points on Gaige through the qualifying bonus points and have a 17-point deficit to overcome on race day. Gaige would end Saturday number 1 and look to continue the status quo of running through the field and claiming another win on the season. In round 1, he was slated to face off against Kelly Klons, but would end up having a bye run as Kelly was not able to make the call after hurting the engine on Friday. With there only being 14 bikes in the race, Gaige would have another bye en route to the semifinals where he'd face off against Hector Rana Jr. In that semifinal round, Gaige would suffer a devastating red light, leaving Reading as still the only track on the Pro Stock Motorcycle Tour where Gaige has not claimed a national event win. This would open the door for Matt Smith to potentially take the points lead for the first time since the 2022 NHRA Finals in Pomona, where he clinched his 6th world title. He would find himself advancing to the semifinals to face off against the second Vance & Hines bike of Richard Gadsden. Matt's bike would break early in the run, leaving the gap at that 17-point mark heading into Charlotte. Can't blame the sandbags this weekend. The final round would be the matchup of Hector Rana Jr., who defeated Gian Evaristo in round 1, Angie Smith in the second, and Gaige Herrera in the semis to meet up against Richard Gadsden, who had gone through Gino Scali in round 1, Chase Van Sant in round 2, and Matt Smith in the semifinal round, securing a first-time winner for the 2024 season. Richard Gadsden would beat Hector off the line, but the performance advantage Hector had found all weekend would be enough to overpower the rookie, as Hector would claim his first win since Norwalk of 2023. In Pro Stock, Dallas Glenn would enter eliminations with the best shot to extend his points lead of securing the number 1 qualifier spot, giving him a 31-point advantage to start off race day against Enders Stanfield. Both drivers would find themselves on the same side of the ladder and methodically work their way through the ladder to meet up with one another in the semifinals to continue an ongoing battle that has dated back since Chicago in May. It would be a costly round for Dallas as he would square the tires right past the tree, handing an easy round win to the new U.S. Nationals winner. Erica Enders would also have a resurgence in her season that feels very similar to the season turnaround that she had last year that gave her her 6th world title. After qualifying second, she would make her way through the ladder to meet up with 3rd place in points Greg Anderson. Erica would also take out the other strong KB Titan entry to secure another all-elite final that would see Erica jump Greg for the 3rd spot. In the finals, Enders Stanfield would power his elite teammate and score a major back-to-back national event win and catapult himself into the Pro Stock points lead with a 9-point gap to Dallas Glenn heading into Charlotte. In Funny Car, the dream season of the Prock trios would once again dominate another weekend in the Funny Car class by almost maxing out all the qualifying points to take a 39-point lead, extending it by almost another round heading into Sunday eliminations. Prock would be on rails in every round of elimination as it seemed nobody had anything to stop Austin Prock from running to the finals, defeating Mike Smith in round 1, Chad Green in round 2, and taking out second in the points Bob Tasker III to make yet another final round in 2024 to give himself a 3-round lead in the opening race. On the other side of the ladder, his teammate Jack Beckman would not have it so easy. In round 1 against Joe Morrison, who smoked the tires and looked to be heading home early, but Joe would end up clipping the orange block and disqualifying himself from the race, gifting Jack the win. In round 2, he would meet up with J.R. Todd, whom he would defeat in a close side-by-side race to advance to the semis, where Beckman would face off against Alexis DeJoria. Jack would once again smoke the tires early, but soon after, so would Alexis, giving us another thrilling pedal fest, where Jack would outlast Alexis, advancing to his first final round since 2020, boosting him from 6th in the standings all the way up to 3rd. In the finals, Austin Prock would continue to dominate the event and outrun his teammate to claim his 6th Wally on the season, extending his points lead to 89 points, almost an entire race. Top Fuel would give us the biggest point shakeup out of any class this weekend. Doug Kalitta would enter the weekend with a 15-point lead over Justin Ashley. Justin would score bonus points in all 4 qualifying rounds, including the number 1 qualifying spot, and shorten the gap to 7 points heading into Sunday. The points will be turned on its head in round 1 as Doug Kalitta will be sent home early by Dan Mercier, opening the door for everyone in the class to hurt the reigning champion's chances of going back-to-back. After winning round 1, Justin would take the lead. He would then extend it after defeating Clay Milliken in round 2. Justin's day would come to an end in the semis as Shawn Langdon would have resurgence in the championship fight, making his way to the finals after defeating Ida Zetterstrom, Tony Stewart, and Justin Ashley. He would meet up with Antron Brown, who also had a strong rebound weekend after defeating Jasmine Salinas, Tony Schumacher, and Dan Mercier to make the finals. Both of them would jump Doug Kalitta in the points, sending the #1 seed in the points, entering the countdown back to 4th, 33 points back. In the finals, Antron Brown would beat Shawn Langdon off the line and was able to hold him off to secure his 4th win of the season and his first since Sonoma. As for the points, Gaige Herrera now holds on to a 17-point gap over Matt Smith exiting Reading. Richard Gadsden would close the gap to only 2 points behind Matt Smith, now making it 3 bikes within 1 round worth of points. The biggest mover of the weekend would of course be Hector Arana Jr. His win on Sunday would boost him from 8th all the way up to 4th, now 60 points behind Gaige Herrera. In Pro Stock, it looks as if the battle will be against the elite pair of Erica Enders and Enders Stanfield and the KB Titan pair of Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson. Enders Stanfield's win would secure him a 9-point lead heading into Charlotte over Dallas Glenn, who has a 26 lead point over 3rd place Erica Enders, who has an 11-point lead over 4th place Greg Anderson. In funny card is already Austin Prock's to lose. With the qualifying points, most of the championship favorites being sent home early, and Bob Tasca being defeated in the semis, it has given Austin Prock an astonishing 89-point lead after the first race of the countdown, almost an entire race worth of points. Jack Beckman would be the biggest mover of the weekend, with Caps and Hagen going on in round 1 and Beckman defeating Todd in round 2. It allowed Beckman to take the Peak Chevrolet funny car from 6th to 3rd, now 99 points behind Austin Prock. Lastly, in Top Fuel, Doug Kalitta will be the biggest loser of any driver this weekend, entering with a 15-point lead, now leaving 33rd points behind in 4th. Justin Ashley now holds on to the point lead. Fox says he's 1 point in front of Antron Brown. I have him with a 2-point lead, but regardless, it is about literally a close neck-and-neck points battle between Justin Ashley and Antron Brown, with Shawn Langdon in 3rd, only 4 points behind, meaning once again, Top Fuel will more than likely come down to the final round in Pomona. Like I said in the beginning, we do have highlights from NHRA on Fox. We'll look at those, and then of course we'll look forward to the Carolina Nationals.
Arana's last race win came last year in Norwalk, Ohio. It is his 36th career final round. Gadsden is attempting to win his first ever national event. An 11 reaction time for Richard Gadsden gives him a little breathing room on the starting line, but look at Arana's motorcycle, which has simply flown this weekend. 683.9 at 198 miles an hour. Arana gets it done. 687.4 for Gadsden, just didn't have enough horse.
And the celebrations are on up here at the top end for Hector Arana Jr. There is winning, and there's winning at the home track, but a big leap in performance. Where did that come from?
You know, it's been there all year, and you know, we were trying some different things to try to figure out the starting line. So we knew it's time to get serious. It's countdown. We knew what to do come Indy. Unfortunately, I was a little quick in Indy, but we fixed that for this weekend, and we had a really great job. But I can't thank my dad enough for giving me such an awesome bike to ride. It's such a blast. And Team Getrix, thank you everybody for sponsoring us and letting us come back out here and race. Scott and Steve Bryson, Pat Galvin, just the whole team. And Wright Trailers, thanks for also jumping on board. Just everybody. I love you guys and I love my family. Woo, we did it again, Sophia.
They lead. It is Stanfield by a significant 4/100ths of a second at the finish line stripe. It is Aaron Stanfield. Man, this guy is absolutely crushing him this year. It is a whole shot victory. He won the U.S. Nationals 2 weeks ago. He now wins here. He is leading in all basic categories, 6:56.9.
And holding his third Wally in 4 races. At the top of the show today, Erica Enders said that you were her biggest threat for her hunt for a 7th championship. Brian Lone just said it is your championship to lose. How true are those words, Aaron?
I think we got a really, really good shot. We got a lot of racing to do, so I still got to keep doing my job. And, man, this hot rod's been flying. Thank you to all my guys. it was a great day for our team, Elite Motorsports, JHG, Melling. Big thank you to Joe Janik. It's always great when we can park. We can get 2 of our cars into the final round, and man, I'm just glad we came away with a win today. Thank you.
The Nitro Funny Car Final. It's a dandy, and it's going to be Austin Prock, 389 at 332 miles an hour. He talked to Bruno, and he said if we got a 389 in this thing, if we need it, lo and behold, they did. Another astonishingly awesome performance.
Good job, boys.
It was a big hug between Jack Beckman and Austin Prock with words exchanged saying, I love you. You are holding your 6th Wally on this season in Funny Car. Do you ever just surprise yourself?
It surprises me every time we hold one of these things. I've done more in this one single season than I have in my entire career, and it's all kudos to these guys behind me. This Cornwell Tools team is unbelievable, and I sure am having fun, but today's a special day. It's my grandfather's 81st birthday, and we got him a win in Indy, and we got him another one coming home, so very special, proud of that, and just so happy to be a part of Cornwell Tools, all the dealers out there that bust their tails day in and day out to give us an opportunity to come live our dream. Thank you from sincerely for my family.
They leave. Antron's out first. Langdon's trying to catch him, and it's going to be Antron Brown. 379.8, much to the delight of these fans. 327 miles an hour, outruns a 380, and it was Brown out first. That 43 light to Langdon 62.
And the first Wally of the countdown is going to go in the hands of Antron Brown. And we talked to you at the top of the show. Could you be the wild card in this playoff? And you were just 1 point back from first in this countdown. How much boost does this give this team ahead of Charlotte?
It's a huge boost. We're just making up the ground that we needed to. So this race is always monumental. You got to start off strong. Credit, man. Our Macro boys never gave up. We struggled a couple rounds in the middle, but good Lord gets all the glory. We never stop, and that's what's so potent about it. Here to get 2 wins with the Hanksford's A Fuel, then the Macro car over here, Angel and the Mahalik brothers with ABM, Brian Karate, everybody, Mark, Brad. Great job, and hey, here we come, Charlotte, baby. Thank you. Woo!
And that is going to wrap up our Reading Nationals recap. Once again, if you guys like the content, then be sure to subscribe today to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content that we have planned for the final 5 races of the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series season. Be sure to follow me on the social media pages down below. MightyMac03 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, where I'm going to be posting updates throughout the final 5 races. And of course, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos so that way everybody knows what's going on in the drag racing world right now as we get set for another thrilling championship finale. And again, be sure to follow me on social media pages, subscribe to the channel, and until the Carolina Nationals, this has been Mighty Mac. We'll see you next time.